There are moments in life when you can see where you are, but you cannot see where God is taking you. You may look at your circumstances and wonder, Lord, what are you doing? When will this season change? When will I finally understand what you are working on in my life? But Psalm 33 reminds us that our confidence cannot be built on what we see. Our confidence must be built on who God is. Even when the path is unclear, God remains faithful. You may not understand the delay, but God understands the destination. You may not see the door that will open tomorrow, but God already knows what is waiting on the other side. You may feel like nothing is happening, but heaven is never inactive. God can be working in ways that you cannot yet recognize. Faith means choosing to trust God when your eyes cannot yet see the answer. It means saying, Lord, I do not understand everything, but I trust you. It means refusing to allow temporary circumstances to convince you that God has forgotten you. The situation may be difficult, but God has not changed. The season may be painful, but His promises remain true. Sometimes we want God to reveal the entire plan before we take the next step. We want every question answered, every detail explained, and every uncertainty removed. But God often asks us to trust Him one step at a time. He may not show you the whole road because He wants you to walk by faith rather than by sight. The next step may be all you need to know today. Perhaps you are waiting for restoration. Perhaps you are praying for a breakthrough, a new opportunity, peace in your heart, or direction for your future. Do not assume that silence means absence. God may be preparing something that requires patience. What feels like a delay may be preparation. What feels like a closed door may be protection. What feels like an ending may actually be the beginning of something new. Do not compare your journey with someone else's journey. Someone else may seem to be moving faster, receiving blessings sooner, or experiencing opportunities that you have been praying for. But God's timing for your life is not determined by another person's timeline. Your assignment is to remain faithful to God where you are. When fear tells you that nothing will change, answer with faith. When doubt tells you that God has forgotten you, remember His faithfulness. When disappointment tells you to give up, choose to keep praying. You do not need to know everything God is doing to trust that He is doing something. Lord, teach us to trust You when we cannot see the full picture. Give us patience when the answer seems delayed and courage when the road ahead feels uncertain. Help us remember that Your wisdom is greater than ours and Your timing is perfect. We place our future in Your hands because You see what we cannot see. Keep trusting Him. God is still working, even when you cannot see it. There are times when the easiest way to lose hope is to forget what God has already done. When you are facing a new challenge, your attention can become so focused on the present problem that you forget the prayers God has already answered, the doors He has already opened, and the moments when He carried you through situations you thought you would never survive. That is why you must learn to remember His faithfulness. Look back for a moment. Think about the seasons when you did not know how things would work out, yet somehow you made it through. Think about the moments when you were afraid, but God gave you strength. Remember the opportunities you never expected, the protection you did not even recognize at the time, and the peace that came when you had every reason to be anxious. Those moments are reminders that God has never stopped working in your life. Sometimes we remember the pain, but forget the provision. We remember the disappointment, but forget the deliverance. We remember the closed door, but forget the door God opened afterward. We remember the prayer we are still waiting to see answered, but we forget the many prayers that God has already answered in ways we once considered impossible. Psalm 33 calls us to celebrate the goodness and faithfulness of God. When you remember what He has done, your perspective begins to change. The problem may still be there, but fear no longer has the same power over you. You begin to say, if God helped me before, He can help me again. If God carried me through that season, He can carry me through this one too. Your testimony is not only something you share after the struggle is finished. Your testimony can become a source of strength while you are still walking through the struggle. Every past victory becomes evidence that God is trustworthy. Every answered prayer becomes a reminder that waiting does not mean being forgotten. Maybe you are facing something today that feels completely different from anything you have experienced before. You may not know what to do next. You may feel exhausted, discouraged, or uncertain about your future. But before you decide that there is no way forward, pause and remember. Remember the strength God gave you before. Remember the people He placed in your path. Remember the unexpected help. Remember the moments when He made a way where there seemed to be no way. Gratitude is powerful because it turns your attention from what is missing to what God has already provided. It does not mean ignoring your struggles. It means refusing to let your struggles erase your memory of God's goodness. So when doubt begins to whisper that God will not come through this time, answer with your history with Him. Tell your heart, I have seen His faithfulness before. When fear says, this is too difficult, remind yourself, God has brought me through difficult seasons before. When impatience says nothing is happening, remember God has been faithful even when I could not see what He was doing. Your past is filled with reminders that God has not abandoned you. The same God who strengthened you yesterday is able to strengthen you today. The same God who provided before can provide again. The same God who guided you through uncertainty can lead you through this next chapter. Lord, help me remember your faithfulness. When I become discouraged, remind me of every moment you carried me, every prayer you answered, and every blessing I almost overlooked. Let my memories of your goodness strengthen my faith for what lies ahead. Remember what God has done, and let His faithfulness give you courage for what He is doing now. There comes a moment in every journey of faith when you have to release your own plans and trust God's direction. We often ask God to bless the path we have already chosen, but sometimes God wants to lead us onto a different path altogether. We may have our own timeline, our own expectations, and our own idea of what success should look like. But when we surrender our plans to God, we are saying, Lord, I trust your wisdom more than my own understanding. Surrender does not mean giving up on your dreams. It means placing those dreams in God's hands and allowing Him to shape them according to His purpose. It means being willing to say, Lord, if this is good for me, lead me toward it. If it is not, give me the strength to let it go. That kind of prayer requires faith because we naturally want control. We want to know what is coming next. We want guarantees. We want to understand why certain doors close and why certain opportunities take longer than expected. But God sees what we cannot see. He knows what is ahead, what is behind, and what is happening beneath the surface of our circumstances. There may be things you are asking God to give you that would not be good for you at this particular moment. There may be doors you are desperate to enter that God knows would lead you away from His purpose. There may be delays that are actually protecting you from something you cannot recognize yet. So instead of constantly asking God to make everything happen according to your plan, begin asking Him to align your heart with His plan. Say, Lord, guide my decisions. Correct me when I am moving in the wrong direction. Give me wisdom when I am confused. Close the doors that should remain closed, and give me courage to walk through the doors you open. This kind of surrender brings freedom. You no longer have to carry the pressure of controlling every detail of your future. You can work hard, pray faithfully, make wise decisions, and still leave the outcome in God's hands. You can do your part without believing that everything depends on you. Maybe you are holding on to something right now because you are afraid that if you release it, you will lose your future. But God is not asking you to surrender so He can take something good away from you. He is asking you to trust Him because He knows what is truly best for you. Sometimes surrender is the doorway to peace. Think about how exhausting it is to constantly fight for control. You replay conversations, worry about possibilities, imagine every outcome, and wonder whether you are making the right decision. But when you surrender your plans to God, you can breathe again. You can say, Father, I have done what I can. Now I trust you with what I cannot control. Psalm 33 reminds us that God's plans stand firm. Human plans can change, circumstances can shift, and our understanding can be limited. But God's wisdom is never limited. His purpose does not depend on our ability to understand everything beforehand. So today, place your plans before God. Place your career, relationships, dreams, decisions, hopes, and future into His hands. Do not be afraid to let Him redirect you. If He changes your direction, trust Him. If He asks you to wait, trust Him. If He closes a door, trust Him. And if He opens a door you never expected, walk through it with faith. Lord, I surrender my plans to you. Lead me where you want me to go. Shape my desires according to your will, and give me peace when your path looks different from mine. Help me trust that your plan is better than anything I could create on my own. Surrender your plans to God, and trust Him to lead you exactly where you need to be. There are seasons when you may look at your life and wonder whether God is really doing anything at all. You may see unfinished dreams, unanswered prayers, unexpected struggles, and areas where you still feel weak. You may wonder why you are not further along or why certain things have not changed yet. But never mistake an unfinished season for an abandoned life. God can still be working in you even when you cannot see the progress. We often want God to change our circumstances immediately, but sometimes His greatest work begins inside us. While you are praying for a new situation, God may be developing new strength within you. While you are asking for a breakthrough, He may be teaching you patience. While you are asking for the right opportunity, He may be preparing your character for the responsibility that comes with it. The process may feel slow, but slow does not mean meaningless. Think about how a seed grows. When it is placed beneath the soil, you cannot see what is happening. From the outside, it looks as though nothing is changing. But beneath the surface, roots are developing and life is beginning to grow. In the same way, there may be things happening within you that are not visible yet. God can be strengthening your faith, changing your perspective, teaching you endurance, and preparing you for something you cannot see today. Do not despise the process simply because it is uncomfortable. Some of the greatest lessons in your life may come from seasons you would never have chosen. Difficult moments can teach you to depend on God instead of your own strength. Disappointments can teach you that your identity is not built on temporary success. Waiting can teach you that God's timing is worth trusting, and failure can teach you that falling does not mean your story is finished. You may still have weaknesses, but God is not finished with you. You may still have questions, but God can give you wisdom along the journey. You may still struggle with fear, but God can teach you courage one step at a time. Do not demand perfection from yourself while God is still shaping you. Growth is often gradual. Sometimes we compare our unfinished chapter with someone else's completed looking chapter. We see their success, their confidence, their blessings, and their opportunities, and then we become discouraged about ourselves. But you do not know what God is doing behind their story, just as others cannot see everything He is doing behind yours. Your journey is personal, and God knows exactly what you need to become the person He has called you to be. So instead of saying, "Lord, why am I not there yet?" begin saying, "Lord, what are you teaching me here?" Instead of asking only for the situation to change, ask God to change you in the middle of the situation. Ask Him to deepen your faith, strengthen your character, purify your motives, and teach you to trust Him more completely. There may be moments when you feel like you are taking one step forward and two steps backward, but even then, God can use the experience to prepare you. Every prayer, every lesson, every difficult decision, and every moment of obedience can become part of the work He is doing in you. Lord, thank you that my current circumstances do not define my future. Help me trust the process you are taking me through. When I feel discouraged by what is unfinished, remind me that you are still working. Give me patience with myself, faith in your purpose, and courage to keep moving forward. You may not see the finished work yet, but God is still shaping your life with purpose. There is a kind of faith that is easy to talk about when everything is moving according to your expectations. But real faith is often revealed while you are waiting. Waiting can be one of the hardest parts of trusting God because you want answers now. You want the door to open now, the prayer to be answered now, the situation to change now. But sometimes God asks you to remain faithful while nothing seems to be happening. In those moments, remember that waiting does not mean God has forgotten you. God's timing is different from our timing. We often look at the calendar, count the months, compare our progress with others, and wonder why our answer has not arrived. But God sees the entire picture. He knows what needs to happen before the next chapter can begin. He knows what must be prepared within you, what circumstances must change around you, and what opportunities need to come together. What feels late to you may be perfectly timed according to His purpose. Think about the moments when you were desperate for something, and later realized that receiving it too early would not have been good for you. Sometimes we ask for blessings before we are ready to carry them. We ask for opportunities before we have developed the wisdom to manage them. We ask God to move quickly when He is preparing us deeply. The waiting season can therefore become a training ground for your faith. Do not allow waiting to make you bitter. Let it make you stronger. Instead of spending every day asking, "When will it happen?" begin asking, "Lord, how can I remain faithful while I wait?" Keep praying, keep growing, keep serving, keep learning. Keep doing what God has already placed in front of you. You do not need to know the exact date of your breakthrough to remain obedient today. Waiting is not wasted when God is involved. Some of the deepest spiritual growth happens when you have no choice but to trust Him. When you cannot control the outcome, you learn dependence. When you cannot see the answer, you learn faith. When you cannot force the door open, you learn patience. And when you finally see God move, you will understand why the process required endurance. Perhaps you are waiting for restoration in an area of your life. Perhaps you have prayed for a change in your circumstances for a long time. Maybe you feel tired because you have been believing for something that has not happened yet. Do not let the length of the waiting season convince you that God is absent. Silence is not rejection. Delay is not necessarily denial. Sometimes God is working in ways that are hidden from your eyes. Remember that your responsibility is faithfulness, not control. You cannot force God's timing, but you can choose how you respond while you wait. You can choose gratitude instead of constant complaining. You can choose prayer instead of panic. You can choose obedience instead of impatience. You can choose hope instead of surrendering to despair. And when you become tired, remember the previous points. God has already been faithful. He has brought you through things before. He has been working in you even when you could not see it. He is still shaping your character and preparing you for what comes next. Your waiting season is connected to the work He is doing in you. Lord, give me patience while I wait. Help me trust your timing when I do not understand the delay. Keep my heart from becoming discouraged, and teach me to remain faithful even when the answer seems far away. Help me believe that your timing is not late and your plan is not forgotten. Keep trusting, keep praying, and keep waiting. God's timing is worth the wait. There comes a moment when you must stop allowing uncertainty to speak louder than your faith. You have trusted God when you could not see the whole picture. You have remembered what He has already done. You have surrendered your plans and allowed Him to lead. You have believed that He is still working in you, even during difficult seasons. You have learned to wait for His timing. Now you must take another step. Declare your faith in the God who will complete the work He has begun. You may not know exactly how your story will unfold, but you can know who holds your story. That is where your confidence comes from. Your confidence does not come from having perfect circumstances. It does not come from knowing every answer or seeing every door that will open. Your confidence comes from knowing that God is faithful. There may be unfinished areas of your life that concern you. Perhaps you look at your past and see mistakes. Perhaps you look at your present and see struggles. Perhaps you look toward the future and see uncertainty. But God does not look at your life the way you do. He sees the complete picture. What you see as unfinished, He may see as a work still in progress. Do not allow your current chapter to convince you that the story is over. A difficult season is not the final word. A failure is not the final word. A delay is not the final word. A closed door is not the final word. God can take what appears broken and bring purpose from it. He can take weakness and develop strength. He can take uncertainty and use it to deepen your faith. Begin speaking words of faith over your life. Not because words themselves control the future, but because what you repeatedly focus on can shape your heart. Instead of saying, nothing will ever change, say, God is still working. Instead of saying, I will never overcome this, say, God will give me strength for today. Instead of saying, my best days are behind me, say, God still has purpose for my life. This does not mean pretending that everything is perfect. Faith is not denial. Faith acknowledges the difficulty while refusing to believe that difficulty is greater than God. You can honestly say, this is hard, while also saying, God is with me. You can admit that you are tired while still believing that God can renew your strength. You can acknowledge that you do not understand while choosing to trust the one who does. When you pray, make your prayer a declaration of surrender and confidence. Lord, complete the good work you started in me. Finish what you have begun. Strengthen what is weak. Restore what is broken. Guide what is uncertain. Remove what is holding me back. Shape my heart according to your purpose. Help me become who you are calling me to be. Then continue walking. Do not wait until you feel completely ready. Take the next faithful step. Pray again. Believe again. Try again. Forgive again. Serve again. Trust again. Every step of faith matters. There will be days when your confidence feels strong and days when you feel exhausted. On those difficult days, return to what you know. God has been faithful. God is still working. God has a purpose. God sees what you cannot see. God can strengthen you for the journey ahead. Lord, I place my unfinished story into your hands. I trust you with my past, my present, and my future. Complete the good work you have started in me. Where I am weak, make me strong. Where I am confused, give me wisdom. Where I am discouraged, restore my hope. Where I am waiting, give me patience. Help me keep walking until I see the purpose you are bringing to completion. Lord, complete the good work you started in me, and help me trust you until the very end.